Rece, you obviously graduated from Alabama, and then afterwards you went to Columbus, started working there. Can you sort of talk about your journey from after graduating college to where you are now?
It's taken a long time, longer than I'd like to admit, because I'm starting to get old. But no, I mean, a lot of great memories, I think, from getting started in Tuscaloosa and then in Columbus, and spending so many Mondays and Tuesdays over here at Pat Dye news conferences and coming to practice. And I was sort of recounting to the guys and boring the guys on the way over about Auburn basketball when I was in Columbus. It had a lot of outstanding players, guys like Ronnie Battle, Wes Person, people that were really good players, but never really had great teams. Had good teams, but not great ones. And but a lot of games over here over the years, and I think it's just an opportunity to get some experience in a place that valued sports and had a lot of big events that was very beneficial as I worked my way up.
What have you seen from Auburn basketball this year? A little surprised with the success they've had coming off the Final Four run?
You know what? Not really when you consider how good Bruce is as a coach. He's able to take the strengths of any particular group of players and mold them pretty well. And I know they haven't had, by net rankings or BPI or KenPom, toughest schedule in the world, but they're 18-2. And, we were doing some comparative stuff the other, just actually a few minutes ago. I was looking at stuff. They're far worse three-point shooting team, and they're not as reliant on it as they were last year, but they're also a better team three-point defense. They do one thing consistently well that they did last year, and they deny easy opportunities. So sort of a hallmark of Bruce's teams. They find a way, whatever the strength of that group of players is on offense, and then they're consistent in terms of playing hard and good on defense. So I think when you lose the types of players that they lost last year, and the guys who could score quickly and in bunches and score threes, you might expect a bit of a step back, and I think some might argue that this is not as dangerous a team because of that as it was last year, but they're still dangerous. They're still really good. And in a year when across the board, I think maybe teams are a little more pushed to the middle, there could be an opportunity for another really good run here.
What about you excited about the atmosphere and just kind of for game day, for the game and all that?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing when you compare. Now, I've been here. I've called games in the new building here when I was doing SEC games. So I've seen it, but there wasn't the level of excitement around it because it was pre-Bruce. So I'm looking forward to seeing the energy in the building. We love going new places where they're really excited, and we're hoping that there's a tremendous turnout. I heard one of our guys who was here for the site survey said that they were asking about the all-time record crowd. And we said, you might not want to deal with that because Kentucky put 22,000 in for game day. So they're not getting that unless you're going to tear down the building and add some more seats before tomorrow morning. But, we'd love to see the place full and see it be loud and raucous and show people what Auburn basketball is about. Now, we're really excited about coming.
You mentioned the rankings and stuff. You said Auburn hasn't played, obviously, the toughest schedule. Does the team need that win against a ranked opponent, that, I guess, signature win in the eyes of the voters, things like that?
It's not like football. I mean, now it will help in seeding, but look, if you put together an impressive one-loss record in the SEC, which might not be, it's not the Big Ten this year or anything in basketball, but there's certainly some good teams. You put together a good record, have some solid wins. They have good wins. They just don't necessarily have great ones. I don't know if Kentucky, necessarily this year qualifies. It'd be a really good one for sure. So I don't know if you worry as much about the voters and where you are in the polls as much as you are just putting together a good record, building consistent wins and trying to make your seed as good as it can be. What were they last year, 4 or 5, and went to the Final Four? So it's it's not as important as it is, I don't think, when you're dealing like with the college football playoff and needing to get in the top 4 in such a smaller field.
You mentioned you've called games here 4 years ago, and you've obviously been here for football for college game days. Did you ever expect that game day would become the Auburn Arena for a basketball game day?
A little surprised, but I remember when Bruce took the job and saying, we're going to get you guys here. And, that's one thing you probably ought not doubt him. He's not only a terrific coach, he is a master salesman for his program, wherever that program has been. And you can't be a great salesman for a program if you're not an outstanding coach. And that, at its core, is what draws people. You have to win and play an entertaining brand of basketball. They do both those things. So I guess maybe if you consider it from
in historical context, the answer would be yes. But when you take a step back from it and go, wait a minute, Bruce Pearl was going there with the force of that personality and charisma. From that standpoint, it's not too surprising. Now, as good as Bruce Pearl is, he's only the second best coach in the building, because I look behind me, I see the great Joe Champy behind here, who was kind enough to let me be part of the old Joe Champy women's basketball show at Channel 3, the coaching show. Yeah, and he also taught me how to make stromboli, which I've forgotten to do. But no, a lot of great friends here at Auburn. And Joe, I might say you and Bruce are tied, since he's been in the Final Four now too, tied for best coach.
He's a step above.
Really? All right.
He's still at it.
Okay. So, but no, he's done such a wonderful job here. And so I guess from a historical standpoint, maybe we'd be a little surprised when you consider the force that he brings to a program. Not very surprised at all.